So Brandon Aker reached out to me not terribly long ago and said, hey, I've got an idea. This might be a clue to it. Today, I'm going to show you how to break down raw wood material, like in plank form, into something that's actually usable, because you can save a lot of money and you can get exactly what you want. You don't have to scroll through endless websites to find the perfect piece of wood. So let's go do this. We're at my radial arm saw, and to prep for this, I've got this all cleared up. So what you want to do is take your piece of wood, get it up, and lock it down into place. Now, I've measured out a little bit over 33 inches here for the sides. That's really generous. You only need 31 if you are tight on materials. 31 is plenty to work with. For safety, we're going to take our handy dandy handsaw and cut right here on the line.
One eternity later.
Well, that went well. So in all seriousness, I used my radial arm saw, but in a lot of times I'll actually just grab my handsaw because this thing generally has, well, it's a flat surface, so it has stuff on it. Now we're left with a plank that's about an inch thick. And so a lot of times you can just take it over to your bandsaw and set up your fence to just the right thickness and put in one of these really snaggly blades. But that said, it takes a lot of time to change the bandsaw blade, to get all the bearings and rollers tweaked out and the guides, and to make sure that it's tracking straight, get the tension right. It's really obnoxious. I'm actually going to show you the way that even if you don't have a big old resaw like this, you can get a really good finish with about the same loss of material. One of the other things that I'm doing with this is not just resawing the sides, which actually takes a fair amount of material. I'm also doing this entire back, which is really nice. This maple came from the old Bowman factory, which is really cool because it has a fair amount of history, and frankly, wood like this just doesn't go on trees. So what I'm doing is I'm using a clear template to kind of mark out where I want the guitar to be in the grand scheme of things, because I don't want to have a big ugly spot in the middle of my guitar. So I've been planning this out, and we're going to take a cut here. Yeah, that's square-ish. And then because you can see some end checks up here, I want to stay away from that. So I'm actually going to cut off about this much on the other side, so that way I don't run the risk of running into end checks. And it gives me enough room that if I want to have a full heel on, I can. It gives me room to work. And then in addition to that, on this piece, because there's all this riff out here at the edge, I'm going to come in with my saw and just take off about that much, so that way I have room to work on all sides. And as you can see, my center line is inside quite a ways, so that way I have a good amount to work with. This piece is 45 millimeters thick, which means I should be able to get 4.5 backs out of this. So that's going to be a fairly good yield. We're going to lose a little bit in the saw blade, but we'll get there in a moment. So let's cut this apart. And by the way, if I'm getting this all set up, it takes almost no more time to do 8 backs, which is what I'm going to get in terms of sides. I should mention that none of the stuff that I've done at this point is hypercritical to measurements. I'm just eyeballing it. It doesn't have to be square. It kind of helps. And as always, safety first. So I'm going to go get my headphones. And I'm going to point out, when using a radial arm saw, these things will, without a joke, take off a finger really, really quickly. I have what I call a bloodline cut into the tabletop, and this tells me exactly where it's going to go. Now, I never use this tool in any other configuration than a straight cross cut. And I also have a dust collection system set up here, so that way this is running almost completely dust free, opposed to way back in the old days when this would kick dust everywhere over the shop. So I almost never used it in the past. As you can see, the radial arm saw works really, really well. You don't have to have one. My biggest safety tip is that currently this saw is at its most dangerous state because it's off, but that blade is still winding down and still spinning. And it's easy to think that the machine is off, but it's perfectly safe. And to me, a machine is not perfectly safe until it stops spinning down, and I'll never walk away from a machine while it is still in motion, unless I'm going between something else. But if it's something like this, I'm not going to move around too much in front of it because that's dangerous. So now that we have our pieces broken down into the rough sizes, what I'm going to do is take it over to the table saw where I'm going to make some relief cuts. Now we've got this broken down into a manageable section, what I'm going to do is come in and take several cuts going up. And this is a fairly thin cut blade. This is about a little bit under 3 millimeters in terms of overall kerf, or the amount of material that it takes away. If you use that big old snaggly blade for the bandsaw, you're going to lose about the same amount of material. Plus, you run the risk of the blade distorting or something pinching, and you're going to have to run slow. This is the safest way. I do this, I won't say all the time, but whenever I have to break something down. I know that this is a woodworker no-no because I'm going to be cutting between the blade and the fence, but I've got about 3 millimeters of gap, a little bit under, because I want my final thickness to be under 3. So this gives me room to work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, put it up here, run it through, turn it over end for end, run it through, raise up the blade, do it again, and do it again. The entire time, I will be watching very carefully. If you have feather boards, this is probably a place to use it. I never grew up using feather boards, so those to me make my shop more dangerous. So safety first, try at your own risk. Now that I've gotten this cut down, the next thing I'm going to do is take it over to the bandsaw and cut out the center. The center line of this is just waste, but by creating these relief cuts on both sides, it gives the blade a place to walk in between, because the bandsaw blade will always go to the path of least resistance. You can do this with, just even a standard 14-inch bandsaw with whatever will fit under here. You can cut it down, you can make it nice. It's fairly simple. So let's go over to the bandsaw. And that as you are cutting, you are supporting, but you don't necessarily need the fence, because if your blade is wandering, then you want to be able to adjust. So as scary as this is, I actually like to go into this freehand. So again, always think about your health, dust collection on, and everything. And now all that we have to do is take this, I'm going to run this through my thickness sander just to kiss off the outside layer, leaving myself a ton of material. I've got about 3 and change millimeters, a little bit more than here. So this way I can sand this down to my final thickness, and it's going to be wonderful. this is what we're working with in terms of the material, and all we have to do is repeat this until we run out of wood. And that is how you resaw a back from a plank. Watch this whole build video with Brandon. It's going to be fantastic. I'm really looking forward to it. And like, subscribe. I'll see you next time.